Maya Johnson wiped down the marble counter at the Golden Crown restaurant for the third time that evening. Her hands shook slightly from exhaustion after working a double shift, but she needed every penny she could earn. The medical bills from her mother's cancer treatment were piling up, and her job as a waitress at one of the city's most expensive restaurants was her only source of income. Before we dive in, tell us, where in the world are you watching from? If you enjoy stories like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button, because tomorrow's episode is truly mind-blowing. Let's get started. The Golden Crown sat on the 42nd floor of the prestigious Hamilton Tower, offering breathtaking views of the city skyline. Only the wealthiest people could afford to dine here, where a single meal cost more than Maya made in a week. She had been working there for 6 months, always keeping her head down and doing her job with quiet dignity. At 11:37 p.m., the restaurant should have been closing, but tonight was different. The infamous Blackstone family had reserved the entire main dining room for a private celebration. William Blackstone, the 70-year-old patriarch of the family empire, was celebrating the closing of their biggest business deal yet. The family had just acquired 3 major tech companies, pushing their net worth well beyond $500 million. Maya straightened her uniform and checked her appearance in the reflection of a wine glass. Her manager, Mr. Peterson, had specifically chosen her to serve the Blackstone table because of her excellent service record. She couldn't afford to make any mistakes tonight. The Blackstone family entered the restaurant like royalty. William Blackstone led the group, his silver hair perfectly styled and his custom-made suit probably worth more than Maya's annual salary. Behind him walked his son Marcus, a man in his 40s with cold gray eyes and an arrogant smile. Marcus's wife Victoria followed, dripping in diamonds and designer clothes, her nose permanently turned up as if she smelled something unpleasant. Their twin sons, Alexander and Sebastian, both in their early 20s, completed the group. The young men had inherited their father's arrogance and their mother's disdain for anyone they considered beneath them. Maya approached their table with a professional smile. "Good evening," she said politely. "Welcome to the Golden Crown. I'm Maya, and I'll be taking care of you tonight." William Blackstone barely looked at her as he waved his hand dismissively. "Just bring us the wine list and don't bother us unless we call for you." Maya nodded and quickly fetched the wine list, a leather-bound book containing bottles that cost hundreds or even thousands of dollars each. She placed it carefully on the table and stepped back, maintaining the respectful distance that expensive restaurants required. The family spent the next hour celebrating their success, their voices growing louder as they consumed bottle after bottle of premium wine. Maya stayed nearby, refilling water glasses and clearing plates, trying to remain invisible while doing her job efficiently. The trouble started when Victoria Blackstone decided she needed entertainment. "You there?" Victoria called out, snapping her fingers at Maya like she was summoning a dog. The young woman hurried over, her heart sinking at the cruel smile on Victoria's face. "Tell me, dear," Victoria said in a voice dripping with fake sweetness, "how much do you make working here? I'm simply curious about how the other half lives." Maya felt her cheeks burn with embarrassment. "I'm sorry, ma'am, but I don't think that's appropriate to discuss." Marcus laughed harshly. "Oh, she thinks she's too good to answer a simple question. How amusing." The twins, Alexander and Sebastian, joined in their parents' cruel game. "I bet she makes less in a year than we spend on a single vacation," Alexander said with a smirk. Sebastian nodded in agreement. "Look at those cheap shoes and that wrinkled uniform. She probably can't even afford proper clothing." Maya's hands trembled as she tried to maintain her composure. She thought of her mother lying in the hospital bed, fighting for her life, and found the strength to keep her voice steady. "Is there anything else I can get for you this evening?" William Blackstone set down his wine glass with enough force to make the expensive crystal ring. "Actually, yes. I want you to understand something, girl. People like you exist to serve people like us. You should be grateful that we even allow you in the same room as us." The old man's words hit Maya like physical blows, but she forced herself to remain professional. "I understand, sir. Would you like me to bring your dessert menu now?" Victoria stood up suddenly, swaying slightly from the wine. "You know what I think? I think she's putting on airs, acting like she's better than she is. Maybe we should teach her a lesson about knowing her place." Maya took a step back, her heart pounding. "I haven't done anything wrong. I'm just trying to do my job." Marcus pulled out his phone and started recording. "This is going to be hilarious." He pointed the camera at Maya. "Dance for us, waitress. If you're lucky, maybe we'll leave you a decent tip." The twins burst into laughter, and Sebastian pulled out his phone as well. "Yeah, dance like the little servant you are." Maya felt tears welling up in her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. "I won't do that. If you'll excuse me, I need to get back to work." She turned to walk away, but Victoria grabbed her arm roughly. "Don't you dare walk away from us. Do you have any idea who we are? We own half this city. One word from us and you'll never work in this town again." Maya gently but firmly removed Victoria's hand from her arm. "I know exactly who you are. You're people who think money gives you the right to treat others like dirt. But it doesn't." The silence that followed was deafening. The entire Blackstone family stared at Maya in shock, as if they couldn't believe someone they considered so far beneath them had dared to speak up. William Blackstone's face turned red with rage. "How dare you speak to us like that? I'll have you fired before you can blink. In fact, I'll make sure you never work anywhere decent again. You'll be cleaning toilets for the rest of your miserable life." Maya felt something inside her break, but not in the way they expected. Instead of crumbling, she felt a strange sense of freedom. She had spent 6 months biting her tongue, accepting rudeness and condescension from wealthy customers because she needed the job. But this was too much. "You want to know something about me?" Maya said, her voice growing stronger with each word. "You're right, I am just a waitress. I work 2 jobs to pay for my mother's cancer treatment. I wear the same 3 uniforms because I can't afford more. But I have something you'll never have, no matter how much money you accumulate." "What's that?" Marcus sneered, still recording with his phone. "I have decency. I have compassion. I treat people with respect regardless of their bank account. And most importantly, I earned everything I have through honest work, not by crushing others beneath my feet." The twins were no longer laughing. Alexander looked uncomfortable, while Sebastian had put down his phone. Even Victoria seemed taken aback by Maya's quiet dignity. But William Blackstone was beyond reason. He stood up so quickly his chair fell backward. "You insignificant little nobody. Do you think your pathetic sob story impresses us? I've destroyed better people than you for sport." He grabbed his phone and dialed a number. "Peterson? Yes, it's William Blackstone. I want that waitress fired immediately." "Yes, the one serving our table. Fire her now and make sure she never works in any decent establishment in this city again." Maya heard her manager's voice on the other end of the line, agreeing to everything Blackstone demanded. She wasn't surprised. She had known from the moment she spoke up that her job was over. What she didn't know was that someone else had been listening to every word. In the restaurant's private elevator, a figure in a black suit had been standing silently, having arrived at the restaurant through a service entrance. The man's name was James Mitchell, and he was someone the Blackstone family would recognize if they had been paying attention to anyone other than themselves. James Mitchell was the CEO of Mitchell Industries, a tech empire that dwarfed even the Blackstone fortune. He was worth over $3 billion, but unlike the Blackstones, he had built his wealth through innovation and ethical business practices. He was also known for his philanthropy and his fierce protection of his employees. More importantly, James Mitchell was Maya's older brother. Maya had no idea who her brother had become. They had been separated when she was 5 years old, placed in different foster homes after their parents died in a car accident. James had been adopted by a wealthy family who gave him every opportunity, while Maya had aged out of the foster system and struggled to survive on her own. For years, James had been searching for his lost sister. He had hired private investigators and spent millions trying to track her down. 3 weeks ago, he had finally found her, working at the Golden Crown under her married name. He had been planning to reveal himself to her tonight, after the restaurant closed. But first, he had overheard everything. James stepped out of the elevator and walked calmly toward the Blackstone table. The family was still berating Maya, who stood there with quiet dignity despite the tears now streaming down her face. "Excuse me," James said politely, his voice cutting through their cruel laughter. The Blackstones turned to look at him, and William's expression immediately changed. "James Mitchell, what an unexpected pleasure. I had no idea you were dining here tonight." James smiled, but it was the kind of smile that made smart people very nervous. "I wasn't dining. I was conducting some business in the building, but I couldn't help overhearing your conversation." William laughed nervously. "Oh, that. Just a small matter with the staff, nothing that concerns someone of your stature." James looked directly at Maya, and she saw something familiar in his eyes, though she couldn't place what it was. "Actually, it concerns me very much. You see, this young woman happens to be someone very important to me." The Blackstones looked confused. Victoria stepped forward with her fake smile. "Really? How do you know our waitress?" James walked over to Maya and gently placed a hand on her shoulder. "Maya, I need you to look at me carefully. Do you remember a little boy who used to read you bedtime stories about brave princesses and magical adventures?" Maya's eyes widened in shock. Her hand flew to her mouth as recognition dawned. "Jamie, is it really you?" James nodded, tears welling up in his eyes. "It's me, little sister. I've been looking for you for so long." Maya collapsed into her brother's arms, sobbing with relief and joy. She had thought she was completely alone in the world, but her big brother had found her. The Blackstone family watched this reunion with growing horror, as they began to realize what they had just done. James gently helped Maya to a chair and then turned to face the people who had tormented his sister. "Now, let's discuss what just happened here." William tried to salvage the situation. "James, I'm sure we can work this out. There's been a misunderstanding." James pulled out his own phone and held it up. "There's been no misunderstanding. I recorded everything that happened here tonight. Would you like me to play it back?" The family's faces went white. In today's social media world, a video of wealthy people humiliating a working-class woman would be devastating to their reputation. But James wasn't finished. "You see, the Blackstone name isn't as powerful as you think it is. Over the years, I've had several opportunities to do business with your family, and I've consistently chosen not to. Do you know why?" Nobody answered. "Because I always research the character of potential business partners. Your family has a reputation for exactly the kind of behavior I witnessed tonight. You treat employees poorly, you don't honor contracts when convenient, and you believe your wealth makes you better than other people." Marcus tried to interrupt. "Now see here, we're one of the most respected families in the city." James laughed coldly. "Respected? By whom? Let me tell you something about respect. True respect is earned through how you treat people who can do nothing for you, and tonight you all failed that test spectacularly." He walked over to where William was standing. "You threatened to destroy my sister's career because she had the courage to stand up to your bullying. Well, let me tell you what's going to happen instead." James pulled out his phone and made a call. The Blackstones watched in growing panic as he spoke to someone on the other end. "Hello, Richard. It's James Mitchell. Yes, I know it's late. I need you to pull all of Mitchell Industries' contracts with Blackstone Enterprises immediately. Yes, all of them. The acquisition deal, the software licensing, everything. Cancel it all." William's face went from white to green. "James, please, let's discuss this rationally. That's a $50 million deal." James ended his call and made another one. "Sandra, James Mitchell, I need you to contact our partners at Goldman Sachs, JP Morgan, and Wells Fargo. Let them know that Mitchell Industries will no longer be doing business with any institution that has significant ties to Blackstone Enterprises." Victoria grabbed her husband's arm in panic. She understood what was happening even if the men didn't. James Mitchell's company was so large and influential that other businesses would choose his partnership over the Blackstones every time. James made a third call. "Tom, it's James. I need you to prepare a press release for tomorrow morning. Mitchell Industries is launching a new initiative to support working families dealing with medical crises. We're starting with a $10 million grant program. And Tom, Make sure to mention that this initiative was inspired by the courage and dignity of a waitress named Maya Johnson. Maya looked up at her brother through her tears. James, you don't have to do this. James knelt down beside his sister's chair. Maya, you've been fighting alone for years. You worked 2 jobs to take care of our mother's medical bills, and you did it with grace and dignity. You never let life make you cruel or bitter. You're the bravest person I know. He stood up and faced the Blackstones again. As for you, your problems are just beginning. By tomorrow morning, every major business partner you have will know exactly who you really are. The video of tonight will be delivered to every business journal and news outlet in the country. Sebastian finally found his voice. You can't destroy our entire family over one incident. James walked over to the young man. One incident? This wasn't one incident. This was a window into who you really are. You didn't just insult a waitress. You revealed that you think human beings are disposable if they don't have money. He looked at each member of the family in turn. Your grandfather built Blackstone Enterprises through hard work and fair dealing. He would be ashamed of what you've become. You've turned his legacy into something ugly. Alexander spoke up desperately. What do you want from us? Money. We can pay you whatever you want. James shook his head sadly. You still don't understand. This isn't about money. This is about justice. My sister dedicated her life to taking care of others, and you tried to destroy her for sport. There are consequences for that kind of behavior. Over the next hour, James made 17 more phone calls. By the time the Blackstone family left the Golden Crown, they had lost contracts worth over $200 million. Their stock prices would plummet when the markets opened. Their social standing was in ruins. Their business empire was crumbling. But the real blow came when James made his final call of the evening. Hello, Mother. It's James. I found Maya. Yes, our Maya. She's been working as a waitress while taking care of Mom's medical bills. What? Oh, you'll want to hear this story. James's adoptive mother was Catherine Mitchell, one of the most influential philanthropists in the country. She also happened to sit on the boards of directors for half the companies that did business with Blackstone Enterprises. By 3:15 a.m., the Blackstone family had lost over $400 million in contracts, partnerships, and stock value. Their reputation was destroyed beyond repair. But James wasn't done yet. Maya, he said gently, do you remember what you used to say when we were kids, when someone was being mean to you? Maya smiled through her tears. I used to say that kindness always wins in the end. James nodded. It does, and tonight it's going to win big. Over the next few days, the story of what happened at the Golden Crown spread across social media like wildfire. The video James had recorded went viral, showing the Blackstone family at their absolute worst. But more importantly, it showed Maya's quiet dignity and strength in the face of their cruelty. The public response was overwhelming. Thousands of people shared their own stories of being mistreated by wealthy customers. Maya became a symbol of working-class dignity and resilience. But the biggest surprise came when Catherine Mitchell announced that she was adopting Maya as her daughter and establishing a foundation in her name. The Maya Johnson Foundation would provide financial assistance to working families dealing with medical crises, and Maya would run it. Within a week, Maya went from struggling to make ends meet to having unlimited resources to help others in similar situations. Her first act as the foundation's director was to pay off the medical bills for every cancer patient at the hospital where her mother was being treated. The Blackstone family, meanwhile, watched their empire crumble. William Blackstone, the man who had threatened to destroy Maya's career, filed for bankruptcy within 6 months. Marcus and Victoria lost their mansion and had to move into a small apartment. The twins, who had mocked Maya's clothes, were forced to drop out of their expensive private college and find jobs. But perhaps the most poetic justice came when Alexander Blackstone, desperate for work, applied for a job at one of the restaurants in James Mitchell's hotel chain. The manager who interviewed him was Maya. She looked at the young man who had once laughed at her struggles and seen someone who had learned a hard lesson about life. Instead of turning him away, she gave him a job as a dishwasher. It was honest work, and it would teach him the value of earning his place in the world. "Please understand," Maya told him on his first day, "I'm giving you this opportunity not because of who your family was, but because I believe everyone deserves a second chance. But you'll earn your place here just like everyone else." Alexander nodded, tears in his eyes. "I understand. And Maya, I'm sorry. I'm truly, deeply sorry for how we treated you." Maya smiled, the same kind smile that had carried her through years of struggle. "Apologies are a start, Alexander. But real change comes from how you treat the next person who can't do anything for you." As the months passed, the former Blackstone heir learned what Maya had always known. That dignity comes not from what you have, but from how you treat others. He worked his way up from dishwasher to line cook, earning the respect of his coworkers through dedication and humility. The story of the Golden Crown became legendary in the city. It was told and retold, each version emphasizing the same moral, that treating people with kindness and respect is not just the right thing to do, but the smart thing to do. You never know when the person you're mistreating might be connected to someone with the power to change your life forever. Maya and James rebuilt their relationship, making up for all the lost years. They established a tradition of having dinner together every Sunday at the Golden Crown, where Maya had been promoted to general manager. The restaurant became known not just for its excellent food, but for its commitment to treating all employees with dignity and respect. The table where the Blackstone family had once held court was retired from service. In its place, Maya installed a small plaque that read, "Kindness is the only currency that never loses its value." And every evening, as Maya walked through the restaurant ensuring her staff felt valued and respected, she remembered the lesson her brother had taught her that night. That true power comes not from money or status, but from lifting others up instead of tearing them down. The Golden Crown continued to serve the wealthy and powerful, but now it operated under a different philosophy. Every customer was treated with respect, regardless of their bank account. Every employee was valued for their contribution. And every night, Maya went home knowing that she had used her position to make the world a little bit kinder. The Blackstone name faded from the business world, remembered only as a cautionary tale about the price of arrogance. But Maya Johnson's name became synonymous with grace under pressure and the triumph of human dignity over cruel privilege. And somewhere in the city, in a small apartment where a former billionaire now worked as a night janitor, William Blackstone would sometimes remember the waitress whose quiet strength had brought down his empire. He had learned, far too late, that the person serving your dinner might just be the most important person in the room. In the end, the SEALs had said it couldn't be done, but they were wrong. Maya Johnson had done something no military operation could accomplish. She had changed hearts and minds simply by refusing to let cruelty break her spirit. Her victory was complete not because she had destroyed her enemies, but because she had transformed them into better people.